All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something pretty cool. We are going to look under the hood of two totally different market structures to uncover a really fascinating economic secret. We're talking about the shared structural DNA between perfect competition and monopolistic competition. Now, if you studied any microeconomics, you know these two market forms. They look like absolute polar opposites on paper. But as you're going to see, they actually share a very specific set of underlying rules.
So here's the core question we're tackling today. What do identical, unbranded goods and unique custom brands actually have in common? Like, how can a market selling perfectly identical plain products operate on the exact same structural rules as a market packed with highly differentiated, fiercely loyal brands? Honestly, it sounds kind of impossible, right? But the source material gives us a crystal clear breakdown of how this actually works.
And this is where a great analogy really helps. Picture a massive local farmer's market with 100 different stalls, all selling identical, completely unbranded apples. No shiny packaging, zero catchy slogans, just apples. That's your perfect competition. Now imagine a wildly popular food truck festival. 100 different trucks selling unique, custom-designed gourmet burgers. Every truck has its own loud branding, special flavor profiles, dedicated fans. You get the idea. That's monopolistic competition. On the surface, a plain apple and a gourmet branded burger, they seem like totally different economic universes. But here is where it gets super interesting. Behind the scenes, both of those markets, the plain apples and the fancy burgers, they actually run on exactly three identical operating rules. Our source text outlines these as the three core similarities between perfect and monopolistic competition. So we're going to break down this step-by-step textbook criteria right now. That way you can see exactly how the economic engine hums underneath both of these markets.
All right, similarity number one, huge crowds.
I actually want to read the exact textbook rule straight from the source here, just so you can lock in that specific phrasing for your exams. It states, there exist large number of buyers and sellers under both perfectly competitive market and monopolistic market structures. So whether you're selling identical apples or custom burgers, you are surrounded by a massive crowd of competitors and a massive crowd of hungry customers.
And, the direct consequence of that massive crowd is really fascinating. Because the sheer volume of sellers is so incredibly large in both setups, nobody has enough market weight on their own to dictate terms to the entire industry. Think about it. No single apple vendor can just suddenly double the price of their apples without losing literally all their customers to the 99 other identical stalls. And no single food truck controls enough of the burger market to completely dominate the whole festival. The crowd itself guarantees that no single buyer or seller controls the industry. Which brings us to similarity 2, open doors.
Going back to the textbook definition, it says, there are no restrictions upon entry or exit of firms in both perfectly competitive market and monopolistic market. Basically, this means there are absolutely no natural monopolies, no strict government licenses locking people out, and no massive patent barriers trapping businesses in or, keeping competitors away.
The crucial takeaway here is total freedom. You have complete freedom to open up shop or close down. Connecting it back to our analogy, any bold entrepreneur who spots an opportunity is completely free to pull up a brand new food truck or set up a new Apple stall. And, just as importantly, if the business just isn't working out, existing firms can pack up and leave the market at any time without facing legal hurdles. The gates are wide open in both directions.
Now that leads to a pretty massive question. What happens to profits when anyone can just enter the market freely? Like if there's a gold rush and anyone can grab a shovel, what happens to the gold? This direct cause and effect relationship between open doors and market profits bridges us perfectly to our final similarity.
And here it is, similarity 3, the normal profit cap.
The final textbook rule from our source tells us, firms earn only normal profits in the long run in both perfectly competitive market and monopolistic market. I really want to anchor that phrase in your mind, long-run normal profits. Essentially, this means zero economic profit. In the grand scheme of things, the businesses make just enough to cover their costs and stay afloat. The days of making crazy, supernormal profit margins, those are completely capped in the long run.
Let's think about the actual mechanics happening here. If firms in either market start earning extra abnormal profits in the short run, what happens? Well, those open doors mean new rivals are going to flood into the market to grab a piece of the pie. All those new competitors increase the supply, and that cuts right into those profits. On the flip side, if firms suffer market losses, the weak players use those same open exit doors to pack up and leave. That decreases supply, which pushes prices back up. Ultimately, this constant flowing in and out forces prices to settle at a point where everyone just earns a normal profit in the long run. Okay, we've broken down the source material's exact answer. Now let's jump into a really quick summary checklist. If you need a fast mental snapshot for your next microeconomics exam, get ready to lock this in.
Here is your trio of similarities. 1. A large crowd of sellers and buyers. Remember, no single firm has the volume to dictate terms. 2. Open door entry and exit. Absolutely zero restrictions for entrepreneurs wanting to jump in or bail out. And 3. The long-run normal profit cap. Because those doors are open, market forces will always naturally balance out any abnormal profits over time.
It is honestly incredibly elegant how two entirely different market landscapes share this exact structural DNA. So, I'll leave you with this thought to wrap things up. Next time you stand in line for a highly branded unique food truck burger or pick up a plain unbranded apple from a farm stall, ask yourself, based on these 3 textbook rules, who really has the power in the long run? Thanks for tuning into this explainer. I hope this makes the hidden mechanics of market forms a whole lot clearer. Keep asking questions and keep exploring.